What's good, fam? This is your boy, Slow Mo, signing in on Friday, October the 5th, 2018, for the Week 5 NFL fantasy picks. My fantasy picks for this week, if you like what you hear, then you continue to follow, Make sure you subscribe to the page, too. That SpotLight Sports Talk, So we're going to get into this. I'm going to run into it with Fanduel, and I'm going to run through it with DraftKings. That's what we're going to do. We got a lot of good games this week, so we're going to get into it, baby. So let's do what we do, all right? Let me see. So let's see what we got here. We got a lot of good games this week. I'm going to start by the quarterbacks. See, I got my FanDuel. You see, I got my DraftKings. We're going to get into it. I even got a little bit of extra information for y'all, just in case y'all ain't do y'all homework this week. Y'all know y'all supposed to do y'all homework, but y'all didn't. So, therefore, that's why y'all got SpotLight Sports Talk, so we can do the homework for you, So let's get into it. Let's go with quarterbacks, It's a few good games this week. Few good games. I think we're going to have a few high-scoring games. We're going to have a few low-scoring games, But we're going to start with the quarterback. Who do I like for quarterback? You got Big Ben. Big Ben in Atlanta. Big Ben playing at home against Atlanta. Salary, $6,900. How do y'all feel about that? Now, I'm going to tell you how I like Big Ben this week. I'm going to tell you why I like Big Ben this week. Because Atlanta allows 30 points a game, Now, will Big Ben reach his value? That's the question right there. Will Big Ben reach his value? Atlanta allowed 30 points a game. Their secondary that's what we're gonna say. Their second that's what we're gonna say. But I think I like Big Ben this week. With the games that we have, I don't know if I would pay for Big Ben this week. I don't know if I would go high for the quarterback this week. If you choose to go high, I think Big Ben. Actually, I feel like if you choose to go high, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think the first 6 picks have pretty good matchups this week for you to go high. Me personally, I don't want to go high this week on a quarterback. I do think Pittsburgh and Atlanta will have a high-scoring game. We do know that Pittsburgh's defense is really some garbage. Not trash, not garbage, but garbage. Read my lips, garbage. So you Pittsburgh fans out there, y'all need to tighten up. I'm glad, though. So you got Pittsburgh playing Atlanta, Big Ben got a good matchup. Matt Ryan got a good matchup, You got 6,900. Let me see what Big Ben is on FanDuel. See, he's 8,400 on FanDuel. See, I wouldn't pay for him on FanDuel. I definitely wouldn't pay for him. Actually, the quarterbacks is like high. The salary is like dumb high for FanDuel. So I'm gonna stick over here to this DraftKings right now. Let's see, 6,900. I mean, 6,900 on DraftKings ain't bad if you compare it to 8,400 on FanDuel. So I'm gonna stick with this DraftKings for right now until we find a better value on FanDuel. Phillip Rivers against Oakland. Oakland with the second worst defense in the league. I repeat, the second worst defense in the league. What is the problem with that right there? How you let go one of probably the best defensive player in the league? One of the best defensive players in the league. How you let him go that turned out to be the second worst defensive team in the league? I don't understand that. But I do think Oakland will pull this out. But that's just my opinion. Phillip Rivers has a good matchup this week. Very good matchup this week. From what we've seen from Phillip Rivers so far, let me see. Let me go to the game log. So he's not been doing too bad on fantasy points so far this year, against Kansas City at 32, Buffalo 22, Rams 17. But I mean, what quarterback do you expect to get high fantasy points against the Rams? Rams got like the best defense in the league. Actually, Rams is the best team in the league. Phillip Rivers hit 22 against San Francisco. I see 2 picks out of here. Touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns against the Rams, Let me see. Oakland. I don't even got to go through Oakland's defense, pass defense, rush defense. So I don't even got to go through Oakland's defense. I'm pretty sure we all know that Oakland's defense is the second worst in the league. So we're not going to even go through that. But Phillip Rivers do got a very good matchup this week. Now, on the flip side of that, like I said, I'm not going to draft high on quarterback this week. I would go low. And actually, I think I do like Derek Carr against the Chargers this week. Derek Carr is 5,200, and that's pretty decent. Would he reach his value? I think he would reach his value. I think he reaches his value this week. Derek Carr has weapons, So, I mean, and on top of that, Chargers defense ain't really they're decent, but I don't think they're like good or whatever. So like, I think Derek Carr would actually reach his value this week. I would like to see that. Who else we got? Like Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan going against Pittsburgh. So if I was to go high, I probably would go one of these 3. Actually, one of these 4. You got Jared Goff playing Seattle. Value at 65. Let me see where he at on FanDuel. 8,000. FanDuel is ridiculous, man. They're like the prices for FanDuel like be crazy, bro. I don't know what in the world is that about. But the crazy part is like on basketball season, like FanDuel, I mean they have pretty good prices on players, But Jared Goff going against Seattle. I don't know what the situation is with Seattle. Seattle is not the Seattle that we seen 4 or 5 years ago. Everybody knows that. And Jared Goff, the Rams is probably the best team out right now, So Jared Goff, he's going to throw the ball. He's definitely going to throw the ball, And then let me see. So if I was to go high, like I said, I would go with probably one of these 4. If I was to pick one out of one of these 4, I think I would pick between Matt Ryan and Big Ben, just because, you got 2 defenses that really ain't like that. You got one that's some trash, and then you got another one that's mediocre. And then you got one that's trash and another one that's mediocre. So I probably would go Big Ben or Matt Ryan. I think it's going to be a very high-scoring game. Yeah, it's going to be a very high-scoring game. So same thing with like Oakland and the Chargers. I think that's going to be a pretty decent high-scoring game, like on some 34-31, somebody win at the last minute overtime, maybe, with a field goal. So, I mean, the thing is, like with Jared Goff, like we know what Jared Goff could do, but the thing is, like what I'm scared of, like why I would probably stay away a little bit from Jared Goff, even though because we know he's going to have a good game. We know that he's going to throw the ball, but I would be more hesitant on the fact that the Rams blowing out Seattle and, once they get to blowing them out, it's really no need for throwing the ball 50 yards down the damn field to Brandon Cooks or somebody, So, and that leaves that second half open for Todd Gurley, So, Cam Newton, I like Cam Newton. The thing is with Cam Newton, I feel like sometimes he do more running than throwing, AR against Detroit. AR has quite a few injuries on offense. And I believe AR is probably playing hurt himself. Yeah, it says right here that, he practiced in full on Thursday, but he's still dealing with a knee issue, so you don't really know how that's going to turn out. If you look at earlier, I was looking at the past matchups from Detroit and Green Bay, and they is in Detroit. And Detroit seems to have the upper hand when they play in Detroit. It's a rivalry game, So, that could be a nice scoring game where, they both go back and forth, But like I said, Aaron Rodgers is dealing, he's short on receiving core right now, I think Randall Cobb is out. I know what's the dude named Geronimo Allison or something like that. I know he's dealing with an injury. Don't know if he's out. And with Randall Cobb, I know they monitor him the day to day or whatever. So he could be active, but I don't see much. I don't see much from him that day. So Aaron Rodgers, he's somewhat a little bit short on who he could throw to, and that might be a problem. That could be a problem because Detroit could put the pressure on him, So I'm really not feeling AR on this matchup right now. Patrick Mahomes against Jacksonville. Now, I know a lot of y'all is on the Mahomes bus. Don't get me wrong. I like Patrick Mahomes, I liked him in college, and he came in this year, and he's doing his thing, Big ups to Patrick Mahomes, big ups to Kansas City. However, you is going against Jacksonville. Jacksonville is been known for a while to have probably one of the best defenses that we ever seen, And then that game right there, that game kind of scares me. It scares me to the point where I wouldn't want to pick Patrick Mahomes, because he's due for a loss. He's due for a loss. Not saying that he will not get the ball off, because I feel like he's a good quarterback. Any good quarterback, they're going to get the ball off. But could it be one of those games where Jacksonville shuts them all the way down? Who knows? Let's see what happens. Mariota, not really interested in him, even though he has a sweet matchup with Buffalo. But I'm not really interested in that matchup. Kirk Cousins against Philly. I actually like Kirk Cousins against Philly. I like Kirk Cousins against Philly. Kirk Cousins is 4-3 against Philly, and that's when he was with the Redskins, and the receiving core he had with the Redskins is some shit compared to what he got now, I think Minnesota has one of the best receiving cores in the league, and also Kirk Cousins has a 99.7 passing rating against Philly, so, I take that. I like Kirk Cousins, However, Philly, I don't trust Philly. For some reason, I don't trust Philly. I don't really trust Philly's defense. It's like they show up when they want to show up. But the thing is with Philly though, like half their team is especially the defense is hurt. So this could be a game where Kirk Cousins actually go off. And it could be a very competitive game, which would cause him to have to throw the ball a lot. So I actually like Kirk Cousins. His value's at 6,000. 6,000. Let me see what it is on FanDuel. 7.7. I'm just not going to just look at FanDuel for the prices. I'm not even going to look at FanDuel. Matter of fact, I should exit out this screen. Matter of fact, But I like Kirk Cousins. I like Kirk Cousins more than I like Carson Wentz on this matchup. Andy Dalton with Miami. That's a pretty decent matchup right there. Andy Dalton with Miami. I don't think Miami really played anybody like that yet. And Andy Dalton's been, I mean, yeah, Andy Dalton's been putting up numbers this year, bro. Like, if you could see it, like, let me see. I'm gonna go to his game log. Okay, well, he didn't put up too much against Indiana in the first game, but he came back with Baltimore. Um, put up 26 fantasy points against Baltimore, 21 against Carolina, 28 against Atlanta. So Andy Dalton. I mean, Andy Dalton been playing this year. John Ross is out, but I mean, Tyler Boyd has just been phenomenal this season, and we all know AJ Green is phenomenal. Joe Mixon is back or whatever. So, I mean, I could really see, Andy Dalton having a hell of a game, especially for the first half. Now, the thing is, with that is, if Cincinnati mess around and blow Miami out the first half, then, I mean, that leaves Joe Mixon to run the ball for the whole second half, So, Matt Stafford, I actually like this matchup. I actually like Matt Stafford against Green Bay. I do like Matt Stafford against Green Bay. Green Bay's secondary is not really – it's not really all of that. They secondary is really some trash also. Like I said, it's a rivalry game, and it's in Detroit, so that's another reason why I like it. And then, you know, Matt Stafford showed me something good last week. I mean, they lost the game, but Matt Stafford still showed me something good last week. Yeah, 23 fantasy points last week. So I mean, that's not that's not like a huge amount of points, but it's a good amount of points. Because I mean, most quarterbacks that throw the ball is going to get you like 20 something fantasy points. Especially if they have somebody to throw it to, and he got Tate, which I know Tate's dealing with an injury. I know Marvin Jones Jr. I think he's dealing with something slight, and you got Galladay. Galladay's been grinding this year. Not really feeling Case Keenum against the Jets. Even though Blake Bortles is going against the worst defense in the league, I'm not really feeling Blake Bortles just because that's just me. Like, I think Blake Bortles is a mediocre quarterback, and I mean, I feel like that he's going to just try to control the game by running the ball, So Flacco at Cleveland, Flacco's been doing pretty decent this year. What scares me about that is, Cleveland always plays tough at home, so, and Hugh Jackson been building that defense up. He's been doing a pretty good job, so, I'm not really feeling Flacco, no Baker Mayfield, Ryan Tannehill, no. Like I already told you about Derek Carr. Russell Wilson, I don't know what in the world happened to Russell Wilson. I'm gonna tell you what happened to Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson got into Sierra, got married, and blah blah blah, and then the female just messed his head up. Eli Manning, I'm biased. I just don't like Eli Manning. I don't really see nobody else. That's pretty much it. I don't really see nobody else in the quarterback situation. So like if I was to go low, I probably would go Derek Carr. I probably would go Derek Carr at 52. If I was to go a little bit higher than that, then I would look towards Kirk Cousins or Andy Dalton, and if I was to pay up a little bit, then I would definitely go between Big Ben, Phillip, and Matt Ryan, So, those are quarterbacks that I believe that have a good matchup. Matter of fact, let me check out Derek Carr first. Derek Carr, let me see. See, he's having, I mean, first game he faced the Rams. He only had 12 fantasy points. Let me see. He threw 300 yards, 40 attempts, no touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Against Denver, 288. His longest was, 30 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Against Miami, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. So one thing about Derek Carr, matter of fact, let me retract my last statement because I think Derek Carr is going to have a good game, but his interceptions is like crazy, bro. Like First game 3 against Miami, 2 against Cleveland, 2. But even against Cleveland, I mean, he had 4 touchdowns. So his fantasy points, got up to 36 points. So. And then, against the Chargers, that's another rivalry game, So I believe there's going to be a high-scoring game. I believe this is going to be a high-scoring game, and this could be a game where, Derek Carr has another good game. He just have to stay off the pitch. But if I was to go low, like I said, I would go with Derek Carr. I think my safe bet right now. And the only reason I'm saying right now is because, before I like to make my decision final with the quarterback or whatever, I like to pick out the whole team, But, I think the safe bet right now, I do like Kirk Cousins, just with his history of playing Philly, So, let me see. And then, like I said, Andy Dalton, he has a good matchup. So I'm just going, who can I pick? Well, let's go Kirk Cousins for right now. I could be wrong. It could backfire, but oh well. Let's going to go down to the running backs. Let's go to the running backs. Let's see. Is it worth paying up for a running back this week? And personally, I think it is worth paying for a running back, but you don't have to pay for a running back. That's the thing. You do not have to pay up for a running back this week if you look at the matchups. Of course, Ty Gurley, I don't have to say nothing else with him. You already know. Only thing I got to do is say his name. That's all I need to know. Say his name. Plus, they play in Seattle. I think the Rams is going to blow him out, and I think Ty Gurley is going to have a hell of a game this, So I probably would pay up for Ty Gurley because I mean, his salary is at 9,400, and it's 91 on FanDuel, So, but I do think Ty Gurley would hit his value on both DraftKings and FanDuel. Ty Gurley is one of those people that, I feel like he's going to – 9 times out of 10, he's going to hit his value, And that's the same thing with Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon's been having a good season this year, and Melvin Gordon has a sweet matchup. So, paying up for both of these running backs right here has a sweet matchup, So we're going to go down. I don't need to mention nothing about Le'Veon Bell. McCaffrey has a decent matchup against the Giants. He has a decent matchup against the Giants. Giants seem like they having a hard time stopping the run game. So McCaffrey he looks pretty good. His salary's at $8,000. Barkley is good. I like Barkley. I just fear that the Giants. I mean, this could be a good game. This probably would be a game that I would stay away from. Even though McCaffrey has a good matchup, it's a game that I probably would stay away from. Connor for Pittsburgh playing against Atlanta. I don't know. I probably would stay away from that. I don't really like that. Joe Mixon. From what I read, Joe Mixon is back. Let's see. Yeah, see, Joe Mixon is back. I don't know what that is. Excuse me. My bad. Yeah, so Joe Mixon is back. So, and like I said earlier, I could really see Cincinnati. I could see Andy Dalton doing his thing first half, and Cincinnati just running Joe Mixon the whole second half. So he has a really decent matchup. Devontae Freeman is also back, I believe, this week. Yeah, Devontae Freeman is also back this week. I don't like him this week. I I don't like him or Tevin Coleman this week. I think that's going to be a pass first game, you know. So thing is with pass first games, thing is like when you have a competitive game, you know, and you know both of them is going to be throwing the ball back and forth, you know. I mean, running backs are pretty much useless in games like that, you know. So um, David Johnson against San Fran. It seems like David Johnson is getting his groove back. I think this game is going to be extremely boring, so I do not like this game. So I'm kind of going to skip over to David Johnson. Leonard Fournette is not playing. Kareem Hunt against Jacksonville. I don't like that matchup. Breida, I don't like him. We know Fournette ain't playing, which is going to put TJ Yeldon. I do like TJ Yeldon. I do like TJ Yeldon against this matchup. Like I said, Kansas City has a terrible defense, you know. So, and I do believe that Jacksonville is going to try to control the game, you know, and that puts Yeldon at a good place, you know. So if you're going to pay a little bit down, like at mid price for running back, you know, Yeldon is actually a really, really good pick, you know, if you think about it. Marshawn Lynch, you know, surprisingly, Marshawn Beast Mode has actually been doing pretty decent this year. Like, he's been doing decent this year. So, but I don't like him in this matchup. I think this matchup is going to be somewhat like how the Atlanta and Pittsburgh matchup, and I just think it's going to be a high-flying game, you know. So, Deion Lewis, I don't like that matchup. Actually, Deion Lewis – Deion Lewis is not going to get you like too many points. You know, they're playing Buffalo. Buffalo haven't been much of anything this year. You know, so I mean, Deion Lewis. I mean, his salary is at $5,400. You know, will he reach value? I mean, it's an if. That's kind of iffy right there. If he reach value, Dalvin Cook. I don't know if he's back this week. It says right there that he was limited in practice today, and he's listed as questionable on Sunday. So, you know, but yeah, I don't know if I'm feeling Dalvin Cook this week. Carlos Hyde, I'm not really feeling Hyde this week. Jed Giant, no. Alex Collins, it could be a decent matchup. I don't see him getting you like a big whole lot of fantasy points, but he could get you some. LaShawn McCoy, man, that's sad. I love Shady. I can't lie. I love Shady. You know, I like the way he ran. You know, but like I said, Buffalo is just horrible. Lindsey, you know what's crazy? I'm gonna tell you something that's crazy. I was not hip to Philip Lindsay until I watched that Kansas City and Denver game, and I like how he ran. You know, and his salary is at $4,800. So, and they playing the Jets. You know, that could be a good game. That could be a good game. I think Denver would probably take off on this game. You know, and if Denver somewhat take off on this lane in my fault in this game, then I think Lindsey could have a decent day. You know, Lindsey he shares his carries with Freeman. You know, so. You know, I think he could have a decent game. Buck Allen, same thing with Alex Collins. You know, with Buck Allen. You know, I mean, of course, I mean, I got Baltimore winning this game. You know, it's a rivalry game, division game. You know, so Anderson Cleveland. So I mean, it could be a competitive game. You know, it's at the end of the day, it's any given Sunday. You know. But if Flacco and the Ravens, you know, go off on them, you know, then I mean, Collins and Buck Allen is going to get on. You know, I don't like Drake. No. It's anybody I like. Anybody is worth paying down for. That's ooh. Okay, so if I was to pay down, from what I see, if I was to pay down, uh, Royce Freeman, that could be a good pick if I was to pay down, or Eckler. You know, it seems like they use him a lot, especially when they win it. And I mean, the boy can run, but he can catch. So like paying, if you pay down, then I mean, Eckler is a good choice. Um, especially because you only got $50,000 salary cap. Right now I'm back down at 38. I'm down at 38.40. Um, before I make my final decision, I would like to try to get Gurley or Melvin Gordon or McCaffrey. Gurley, Gordon, McCaffrey, or Mixon. You know, so I'm gonna skip over that until I make the rest of my picks to see if I have enough money to get one of those two. We're gonna go to wide receiver. We're gonna go to wide receiver, and like when you make your pitch, I mean, I think one of the main things is to consider is like, is he gonna hit value? Um, is he gonna hit value? You know, um, like Antonio Brown. Like right now, we on wide receivers. Antonio Brown's at 9,100. So you're going against Atlanta defense who allows 30 points a game. You know, so I mean, I could see something right there for Antonio Brown. Um, let me see. Yeah, so I mean, Antonio Brown. I mean, the one of the best wide receivers in the game. Actually on this game, you got the two best wide receivers in the league going against each other. You know, and they both have good matchups. So Antonio Brown, like if you was to pay up for a wide receiver, I mean, I don't know, you might want to consider them, but like on this matchup right here, I mean, I think this week you don't need to pay up for a wide receiver. And the reason being is because, you have a lot of games. You got a lot of, like, if you look at this list, bro, like it's a lot of wide receivers that is going to get off. I feel that's going to get off. That could get you just as many fantasy points as Antonio Brown or Julio Jones, So, they playing against each other. So, like, like I said, if you want to, you can pay up for both of them, but like, consider your options because you got a lot of other receivers, you got I'm not really big on Beckham, I'm not really big on him, it's just, I don't know, it's just something about, I guess it's just the Giants, I don't trust the Giants offense at all, and I don't trust the Giants offense against Carolina, so. Keenan Allen. I do like Keenan Allen this week. Um, of course, Keenan Allen is going to get his targets. Oh, he's definitely going to get his targets. Uh, he only have one game this year where he has over 100 yards, and he only has one touchdown. But I think this might be a game where we actually see that 100-yard and touchdown when he gonna hit. And I believe this is gonna be the game where he actually hits his value. His value is his salary is at 7,800. Let me see what it is on FanDuel. It's at 8,100 on FanDuel. So I do like this game for Keenan Allen. That's Phillip Rivers' number one dude. Would I pay for Keenan Allen? Not before I go down to the list, because like I said, it's a lot of good receivers that I feel like that could get you some money this week. For example, Thielen with Minnesota, good matchup. You know, with Thielen and Stephon Diggs, they both have a really, really good matchup against Philly. Like I said, um, excuse me. Like I said, Kirk Cousins does have a 99, like a 99.7 or 97.9 passer rating against Philly. He's 4-3 against Philly, you know. So, you know, that says that, you know, Kirk Cousins does have good games against Philly. And I mean, he's used to playing Philly. I mean, you know, he came from my team, the Redskins, you know, so I think he's going to put on, you know. So I would definitely consider that. Um, Devontae Adams, he's listed as questionable. Um, yeah, he's listed as questionable. I think they might try to. I I think he's going to play. You know, if he don't play, then I mean that leaves AR with damn near nobody to throw to. You know, so I think Devontae Adams is going to play because of injury, because of the matchup. I do not like it, so I wouldn't go for him. Uh, Juju against Atlanta. I actually like Juju against Atlanta. I would pay for Juju before I would pay for Antonio Brown on this matchup. You know, um, reason being, I guess just to save up a little bit of salary, you know, so I can get one of those one of those so I could either get, you know, Gurley or Melvin Gordon, you know, so I could pay up for a running back. You know, so I like Juju. I would pay for Juju before I pay for Antonio Brown this matchup. Um, Let me check out his numbers right quick. 19, 34, 23, 10. Pretty decent, you know. One touchdown. However, he got one touchdown, but he hits over 100 yards. The last game was the only game that he didn't hit over 100 yards, you know. But the last game, I mean, let me see. He was targeted 11 times. Yeah, so the targets are there. You know, the targets are there. The yardage is there, whatever. So, I mean, you know, that gives me more of enough reason to go for Juju before I go for Antonio Brown. Brandon Cooks, I like his matchup against Seattle. You know, I think Brandon Cooks been doing fucking a beast this year, bro. Brandon Cooks been getting it in this year. Um, he definitely gets his targets. His targets is not in the double digits, you know, 8, 8, 9, 8. So of course he's going to get his targets, you know. And then I mean, look at his catches. You know, out of 8 targets, he caught 7 balls. You know, that's good. You know, 7 for 8, 7 for 9, 5 for 8. You know, we're gonna look at his yards: 116, 90, 150, 159. Damn, 87. Let me see. He also has 1 touchdown this year. You know. But still, though, I mean, if you look at his fantasy points, 28, 16, 25, 14, you know, so, I mean, Brandon Cooks is going to get you there. He's definitely going to get you some money, you know. Salary at 7,400, you know, I do think that he probably could reach his value, you know. Let me see what it is on DraftKings. On FanDuel. 7,800. So not too more, you know. But I do like Brandon Cooks. AJ Green, I like AJ Green, but on this matchup against Miami, Tyler Boyd is hot right now. So I think I do like Tyler Boyd. You know, his salary is at 5,700. You know, and Tyler Boyd has been balling, like straight up balling. Like the only game that he ain't balling was the first game against the Colts. You know, he only been targeted 5 times, 26 yards. But I mean, look after that though. You know, targeted 9 times, 715 in the last game, and I think the majority of that was because AJ Green went out for a little bit. You know, but let me see his yards. Like the last 2 games, he hit over 100 yards. You know, he got 2 touchdowns. You know, I mean, look at his fantasy, 24. Again, the last game, he had 28 fantasy points against Carolina, 21 against Baltimore. So it could be a really good game for him. And like I said, John Ross is out, so I believe Green and Tyler Boyd would share those targets. So um, that's another one where I probably would pay down a little bit for the number 2 receiver before I pay for the number 1 receiver. Even though AJ Green is AJ Green. AJ Green is a monster. You know, AJ Green's going to get his targets. But surprisingly, AJ Green haven't hit over 100 yards yet this season. But he has the touchdowns. 5 touchdowns this season. So at the end of the day, like when you look for fantasy or whatever, touchdown's going to get you money. Yardage is going to get you money too, though. But touchdown's going to get you money. Emmanuel Sanders. Only reason I like Emmanuel Sanders is because it seems like that he's Case Keenum's go-to guy. So Emmanuel Sanders is going to get his. He's going to get his. That's without a doubt. He's going to get his. So Emmanuel Sanders, he got a pretty decent. I already said Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill. I don't like Tyreek Hill. I think Jalen Ramsey is going to lock him down. I don't like Tyreek Hill. Jarvis Landry, I'm not too big on him. Golden Tate, I think he has a great matchup against Green Bay, like I said before. So we could see that. Robert Woods, I think any wide receiver that plays with the Rams has a good matchup. It's the Rams, though. They've been playing good. And on top of that, they've been, putting up numbers, 30-plus points a game, So with them putting up numbers like that, that their receivers is going to get off. The question is, which receiver is going to have the best game, Could it be Cooks? Could it be Woods? Could it be Cooper Kupp? Who knows? So I think all the Rams receivers are in line for a good game. Alshon Jeffrey. You know what? I can see Alshon Jeffrey having a decent game. Since he's been out, Aguilar has been the go-to. But Alshon Jeffrey is back. Carson Wentz is back. So, and Carson Wentz likes throwing to Alshon Jeffrey, and he likes throwing to Zach Ertz. So it could be a decent game for him. And on top of that, Minnesota's defense, for some reason, it's last year it seemed like their defense was one of the most talked about, and this year their defense is some trash. I don't know what the fuck that shit is, but I don't know. Alshon Jeffrey, though, he could have a decent game, though. Galladay, I like Galladay for Detroit. Galladay, or whatever his name is. I say Galladay, Gallad, but it's Goladay or something like that. Yeah, Goladay. Something like that. But I actually like him. He put double digits of fantasy points for you, And then with that Green Bay secondary, this could be a big game, be a good game for him. So, but who would I pay for? Oh, we on Calvin Ridley. You know what? That first game I seen from him, I wasn't big on him, but now I am big on Calvin Ridley. And I like this matchup to the point where I am going to play him in this matchup in one of my lineups. I usually pick 10 different lineups, So one thing I hate about 10 different lineups is sometimes, you be locked on a player. When you be locked on a player, you have that player in all 10 lineups and that player just don't do nothing, then you don't even want to watch football no more. It's once that player do bad and he mess up your he mess up your money split, especially if you playing on a big money ticket. You be depending so much on that player thinking that he's going to have a good game, and you don't even want to watch football. John Brown been doing good. Uh, it seemed like Flacco likes throwing to him, so John Brown, he's been doing good, Of course, he's going to get the targets and everything. Amari Cooper. Seems like this is not the same Amari Cooper. He only had 2 good games, one against Denver and another one against Cleveland. Against Denver, where he was 10 for 10 with 116 yards, no touchdowns, but it's still 24.6 fantasy points, I don't even feel you don't score a touchdown, but you gave me 24.6 fantasy points. Hey, same thing like with Cleveland, but he did score in that one. But he was 8 for 12, 128 yards, 36, as long as 36 yards, touchdown, 29.8 fantasy points, So, like, if this is a pass back and forth type game, I could see Amari Cooper getting a little big. I could see him get you over 15 fantasy points, between 15 and 25 fantasy points. I can see that. Kenny Stills, I'm not big on Kenny Stills. It's crazy too because like people have been putting up numbers against Cincinnati. So even though I said earlier that Cincinnati, Andy Dalton could run away in the first half, like people have been putting up numbers against Cincinnati. So that speaks kind of low on their defense. So me, I'm just not big on Miami. Like, I never picked anybody that played with Miami on any of my lineups. I don't care who they play or whatever. They could play the worst team in the league. I still probably won't pick nobody from Miami. Aguilar, I don't like him. He's decent, but I don't know. But Alshon Jeffrey back, I don't really like him. Anua, I'm not really feeling him on this matchup. I didn't see anybody else in here that stand out to me. If I was to pay down, I probably would go with Jordy Nelson. Yeah, if I was to pay down, I probably would go with Jordy Nelson, just because like I said, it's going to be back and forth. So, let's see what his numbers is like this year. So his last 2 games wasn't that bad. The game against Miami, he was 8 for 6. I'm sorry, 6 for 8, 173 yards. That's the game when he went off with a touchdown, 32 fantasy points. That shit's crazy. Against Cleveland, he was 5 for 8, 48 yards, got 17.8 fantasy points. So I can see a decent game for Jordy Nelson. It's not somebody that I'm really like stoked about, but I can really see a good game for him. If I was to go further down, is there anybody that I like? Nope. Nah, so. Oh, this guy right here. What's his name? Whatever his name is. I can't even pronounce the boy name. But for Green Bay, this might be a game where we see him. Yeah, this definitely going to be a game where we see him. Aaron Rodgers is short on receivers, so I think this is a game that we're going to see him. And if you can remember in preseason, the boy did pretty good on preseason, He played the last game against Buffalo. He got a little full points, but this game, I think we're going to see a little bit more of him just to give AR a little bit more, Treadwell, Robertson, Audric Robertson. for Minnesota, So with these Minnesota receivers, you just never know. You just never know. So these Minnesota receivers, I feel like Minnesota's receivers are all a threat. So. But let me try to finesse some. I ain't gonna give y'all all my picks. You lose some. I ain't give you all the picks. I'm just running them down though. It's up to y'all what y'all want to pick though. Let's go over here to the tight end situation. Y'all see, I'm not even clicking back on FanDuel. I'm actually gonna click off on it. Y'all free to look at it if y'all want to. But it's just the pricing on here. Pricing on here is a little bit higher compared to DraftKings, so that's why I'm just still right here stuck on DraftKings. So let's go to tight end. With tight ends, Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz is going to get his. Same thing with Travis Kelce. Two of the best tight ends in the league, so they both going to get theirs. Jared Cook for 4,800. That is good, but I'm gonna tell you the best one that I've seen so far. Vance McDonald. Vance McDonald's been grinding with a capital G. Ding. On top of that, we both we both know but we all know that Big Ben likes to throw to Vance McDonald. I think he's a reliable tight end, so he's somebody that I'm looking at, sorry, a little bit tired, but Austin Hooper. Not too big on Austin Hooper. Oh, it's somebody that actually debuts this Hayden Hurst, Not somebody that I would pick, but I just keep an eye out on him because, boy got size, the boy got speed, so, he could be a serious threat, I'm going to go ahead and get a piece of this food because I'm hungry. I ain't want to eat on the streamcast, but, I'm going to eat. But I will pay. I probably will go Jared Cook with this. Yeah, I'll probably go Vance McDonald or Jared Cook with this. Actually, no, I probably would go Vance McDonald with this one. Just because of the matchup. Big Ben likes to throw to him. If you want to pay up for a tight end, you can. But I just don't see a need to when you got people like Kyle Rudolph or Vance McDonald or Jared Cook now. I feel like all three of them is going to get a little bit of touches. They all got good matchups this week. We're going to skip over to defense. See, when I pick my defense, when I'm making my picks for quarterback and receivers, I'm going for the high scoring games. But with defense, I'm going the other way around. However, if I can see a blowout in the making, then I am going to rock with that defense. I am going to rock with that defense. So, Titans against Buffalo. I do like the Titans. Like I said, I do think that'd be a low-scoring game. I give Buffalo, I don't know, 7. 10 points. It could be good. 10 points, you know. I'm going to eat again. You know, y'all want some? I could pay up for Tennessee, you know. These first three, Panthers, Rams, Titans, love them. I love them, you know. Uh, I like the Ravens. Ravens defense, you know. If I was to go down, I probably would go for Ravens defense. That's all I see, though. It's like you don't have too many choices on defense, you know. So, you know, but I do like the Ravens defense. I think they could do something this week. Me, I won't go. I'm not going to Ravens defense. I am going. Who do we trust more? Tennessee against Buffalo or the Rams against Seattle? I am going to go Rams. Why? Because I like the Rams. The Rams defense is one of the best. I love them. I love them. I love them. You know? So that's just a few picks. You know, those are my rundown for week 5 NFL fantasy picks. You know, let me see. Let me finish. See if I can finish this whole lineup while we still on. Let me see. Remaining salary. I had $25,100 left. You know, so let me see if I could add one of these stud running backs on. Let me see. Do I need to add a stud running back? Should I go stud running backs or I go stud receivers? No, I don't need to go stud receivers. Let me try this right here. Let's see. Let me go Gurley. I'm just trying something, right? So this is what I'm gonna do. I definitely can't do that. Yeah. So I just try to put I just try to put Gurley and Belvin Gordon as my running backs. Let me see if I could do that and like go low. How low can I actually go for a receiver? Mm, let me see. Is there anybody that I like? It's a few receivers. Like you got a huge selection. You know, Muhammad Sanu. I'm not a big Muhammad Sanu fan at all. He has his games where he go in, and then he has his games where he just, you know, like I just don't feel like he's like consistent. Mike Williams against Oakland for 4,200. Thing is, I don't see. Thing is with Mike Williams, I haven't like against San Francisco. His production was like trash, bro. 3 targets, 1 reception, like trash. Like his targets like varies. And the crazy part is like against like tough teams, like okay, they played the Rams, 7 targets, you know. Buffalo, 2 targets. San Fran, 3 targets. Like, what's that about, you know? So let's see. I just know I would not be able to put Gordon and Gurley on my squad. So let's try to switch something up right quick. Let's see, who else on the running backs that I did say I like, I did say Eckler, though. So let's see if we can do that. What that leaves me with 11.5 for receivers. So that gives me a pretty good amount to play with. Which leaves me, let me see, 11.5. Tyler Boyd is 5.7. So I could actually go Tyler Boyd and do I like Amari Cooper? I don't know. Matter of fact, let me I don't know. Just take some time to put together, but I just ran through who I like. That's a little bit. I probably put that lineup in. Add another receiver, put that lineup in. We're gonna see how that route. Once again, this is Slow Mo, Spotlight Sports Talk. Follow us, subscribe, like, share. I will be doing this. I'm actually late doing this. This is Friday. Like I said, it's 10:36 right now. But from now on, I will be giving y'all my weekly fantasy picks probably every Tuesday or every Wednesday. I want to go for every Tuesday, though. All right? So that would be all. And y'all have a blessed night, all right?